of his landlord. Lockwood and Nellie Dean, they are the two main characters of the story. Through Nellie, we get the history of Heathcliff. Nellie narrates the main plot line of Wuthering Heights. When the story begins, we find Mr. Earnshaw is an owner of Wuthering Heights. He is a Yorkshire farmer and owner of Wuthering Heights. He brings home an orphan from Liverpool. The boy is named Heathcliff. He is raised with the Earnshaw children. They are Hindley and Catherine. Catherine loves Heathcliff, but Hindley hates him because Mr. Earnshaw has great love and affection for Heathcliff. After Mr. Earnshaw's death, Hindley destroys Heathcliff's career. Catherine and Heathcliff grow up together. They spent their time on the moors. Then we find the story moves further. Now we find another family, and that is the family of the Lintons. The Lintons, they are Edgar and Isabella Linton. They live at Thrushcross Grange. They are the complete opposites of Heathcliff and Catherine. The Lintons welcome Catherine into their home, but they shun Heathcliff. He is treated as an outsider. Heathcliff begins to think about revenge. Catherine spends her time between Heathcliff and Edgar. But soon she spends more time with Edgar. That makes Heathcliff jealous. Heathcliff overhears Catherine. She tells Nellie that she can never marry him. That means Heathcliff. He leaves Wuthering Heights and is gone for 3 years. Then Catherine continues to court Edgar and ends up marrying him. Here we find that Catherine marries Edgar. Their happiness is short-lived because they are from two different worlds. Heathcliff returns later as a rich and educated. The relationship is strained further when Heathcliff returns. He tries to gain his revenge on the two families. Heathcliff returns at Wuthering Heights and then marries Isabella, Edgar's sister. Soon after Heathcliff's marriage, Catherine gives birth to Edgar's daughter. She is known as Kathy, and then Catherine, the mother, dies. Heathcliff takes control of Wuthering Heights and Thrushcross Grange. He tries to destroy everything Edgar Linton holds dear. For almost 17 years, Heathcliff waits for his revenge. Finally, he forces Kathy to marry his son, Linton. And by this time, he has control of the heights. With Edgar's death, he has control of the Thrushcross Grange too. Then the ghost of Catherine haunts Heathcliff. Now he truly desires more to be reunited with his soul mate. At the end of the novel, we find Heathcliff and Catherine. They are united in death. Hareton and Kathy are going to be united in marriage. Here is a very beautiful photograph of Heathcliff and Catherine from the novel Wuthering Heights. Now the use of symbols. The novel presents mainly two symbols, moors and the ghosts. First, the moors. The landscape is mainly comprised of moors. That is a wide, wild expanses, high of infertile land. The moors serve as a symbol of the wild threat posed by nature. The root of love between Catherine and Heathcliff develops on the moors during their childhood. Now the second symbol, that is of ghosts. Another important symbol is the ghost. Ghosts appear through Wuthering Heights. They remain ambiguous. Catherine's spirit, when it appears to Lockwood in chapter 3, may be explained as nightmares. In chapter 34, the villagers' alleged sightings of Heathcliff's ghost could be distinguished as a superstition. The ghosts symbolize the manifestation of the past within the present. Now the reviews of the book. The novel did create a very controversial reviews during the Victorian age because of its depiction of mental and physical cruelty. It also challenged strict Victorian ideals of the day. And what were the Victorian ideals? They are like religious hypocrisy, morality, social class, and gender inequality. Emily Bronte wrote for her own satisfaction, without the slightest desire for fame. Her fame is rested on her single novel, Wuthering Heights, 18 1947. With this book, she reached the heights of literature. During her own life, she remained almost unknown. According to Glenn Heather, I quote, she reached at the top level in the literary canon of English literature, unquote. It is from Glenn Heather, Wuthering Heights, 1988, Critical Commentary, page 351. Simone de Beauvoir, in The Second Sex, 1949, wrote that, I would like to quote, of all women who ever lived, only 3 female writers, Bronte, Virginia Woolf, and sometimes Catherine Mansfield, actually explored, quote, the given, unquote. It is from the Second Sex translation, 2009, Random House, page 748. Now the locations of the novel. The locations in the novel are inspired by some real buildings near Haworth. That was a birthplace of Bronte sisters. The inspiration for Thrushcross Grange has long been traced to Pondon Hall, that was near Haworth. It is a very small hall. Another important location is Shipden Hall near Halifax. It is perhaps, I would like to quote from Ian Jack, more likely. It is perhaps more likely place that Ian Jack has quote 1995 explanatory notes on Oxford World Classics edition of Wuthering Heights, page 25-26. Shipden Hall has several features that match descriptions in the novels. So here we find the 2 locations and their beautiful pictures presented before you to look at the location place where the novel takes the plot. First is the Pondon Hall, and next is the High Sunderland Hall in 1818. Before Emily Bronte visited this particular place to see the site of this place, this picture was taken up. So this particular High Sunderland Hall and Pondon Hall, they have largely influenced Emily Bronte to create a location for the novel. Now look at the contribution of Emily Bronte. Emily Bronte's contribution to English literature is immense. She wrote only one novel, Wuthering Heights, in her lifetime. This work is considered one of the greatest romantic novels of English literature. Wuthering Heights was ahead of its time. The novel was initially published under male pseudonym. In Victorian era, people could not imagine that a female could write so vividly about passion, power conflicts, and sexual desire. For the first time in literary history, somebody showed the society that females are not inferior to man. Bronte showed the Victorian society that every woman has a unique character and personality. Wuthering Heights is a kind of biography of Emily Bronte, as the plot and the characters indicate quite well with her own life. Now we come to the third and final Bronte sister, Anne Bronte. Anne Bronte's period is from 1820 to 1849. She is a lesser known novelist compared to her two sisters, Charlotte and Emily. Now, if we look at the sketch of Anne Bronte, we find that she is a very delicate-faced, very lesser-known novelist of the three sisters. Look at the works of Anne Bronte. Anne Bronte's two works are famous. Agnes Grey, number 1, that was published in 1847, and the second is The Tenant of the Wild Fell Hole, 1848. Now, the first work, Agnes Grey. Agnes Grey is the first novel of Anne Bronte. She wrote under the pen name of Action Bell. Now these pen names that are taken by these three different sisters, they suggest that the Victorian era was an era where women were afraid to write their works under their own name. So they preferred a pseudonym.